So Madam Web has been released, and I have to say it moved me. It actually moved me quite a lot, and that's because I watched it in 4DX because that was the only screening I could get to, and you know, I really did get that full-on experience of this film. With a quick glance at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, it's clear to see that things aren't looking so rosy for Madam Web, so much so that it's got a 14% critic score, which is 1% lower than Morbius, and so is Madam Web actually worse than Morbius? Now of course this is just a response from one website, but we even have an audience review from Madam Web herself, where she says that it's a great storyline and script that leaves you wanting more and grateful for the message of the movie.
Bollocks! 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 Oh. Bollocks.
The star of the film who plays Madam Web is Dakota Johnson, and she's actually been getting quite a bit of praise for her honesty on the press tour, because she's made it crystal clear that she doesn't have much faith in the film, and has even said she hasn't seen it yet, saying, "I don't know when I'll see it, someday."
Yeah. That's not gonna happen.
So yeah, when your leading star has this attitude towards your film, it's not a great sign at all, but she's not wrong with her stance because this is a complete crapfest of a movie. And after seeing her in those 50 Shades of Grey films, I didn't think we were going to get that low again, yet here we are, and she's even using those tactics of seduction to try and get people to see the film in the marketing promo.
I know that when you see Madam Web, you're gonna love it. In fact, I think you're gonna see it twice.
Absolutely fucking not.
Madam Web is yet another superhero origin story where we see Cassie Webb, who's a paramedic, and after an accident she develops psychic abilities where she can see future events within the spider world. She isn't the only one who can see into the future though, as we also have Ezekiel Sims, the film's villain. With his clairvoyance he can see the future and his death, which comes at the hands of 3 spider women, and so his aim is to track down these 3 young women before they can turn into his eventual killers. There is also a connection between the hero and the villain here, as well as a tie-in with the family of Peter Parker, but forgetting all that because the screenplay is what will help make this all come together, and it is awful. And it's not a surprise because Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless don't have the best track record. I mean, let's just look at what they've actually done in the past. Dracula Untold, The Last Witch Hunter, Gods of Egypt, Power Rangers, Morbius, and of course now Madam Web. So yeah, how are they getting work?
One big damn conspiracy, and everyone's in on it.
A lot of the film is utterly boring, but there are a few lines here and there that make your eyes roll back so much that you can't help but giggle a little bit, but it's really not one of those films which is so bad it's good, it's just so bad. With the script being so terrible, you can understand some of the actors not putting their full effort behind their performances, but for Tahar Rahim, who played Ezekiel, he was on another level of bad. I mean, he was like porn star bad. Like, I don't know what happened there. A lot of his scenes as well weren't properly synced up with his lips, so he was talking and the words weren't coming out right. Everything was just a complete shit show.
That is one big pile of shit.
When Cassie eventually runs into the 3 girls who are being hunted by Ezekiel, you think the film's going to start to kick into gear, but nothing happens. It just never moves off that starting point. Of the 3 girls, the most recognisable actor here is Sydney Sweeney, but with all the film's issues really bogging it down, this is no place for any talent to really shine through, and so it's difficult to really judge how good of an actress she is because, you know, everyone in this film is really being held back. As I said at the start of the video, I watched this film in 4DX, and so I was very aware of when any action was taking place, and the action here is very minimal. We get a car chase, we get a crash, then we get another car chase and another crash, and that's pretty much it. And considering how bad the script is, you think at least give us some action to sort of, you know, tide us over, but no, that's bad as well. If I had to squeeze out one positive though, I'd say that at least in one scene they did shine a light on the importance of learning CPR, but that's pretty much all I've got. And so I have to say that I think Madam Web is worse than Morbius, because at least with Morbius we had Matt Smith as the villain. He had fun with that role, that dance went viral on social media, and it became a real meme sort of thing with Morbius, and I don't think that's what's going to happen with Madam Web at all. I think they're hoping it might do, but I don't think it's going to. It's made $6 million on its domestic opening day, which is very, very bad, especially when you look at the budget of it being $80 million. And so yeah, this looks like it's going to be a mega flop. And so with all this, it begs the question of whether Madam Web should have even been released by Sony at all. We've seen recently at Warner Brothers that they went the opposite direction with Batgirl, and they shelved that film entirely. Now of course it's a very difficult decision to be made, with many people putting lots of hard work and passion into these films, but you also have to look at it on the business side of things as well. And so it really is a head versus heart situation. And for all these big companies, they're always going to go for the head. And so with the failure of Morbius and now what looks to be here Madam Web, have they done more damage than good? You know, are people actually going to go out and see Kraven the Hunter?
Absolutely fucking not.
So have you seen Madam Web or not? If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't seen it, why not? What are you waiting for? But in the meantime, if you want to watch another video, on screen is one where I go through the current state of Hollywood franchises.